So, we are going to take a listen, using our imaginations, of course, at how might the Son of God prayed had he been us and responded to difficulties in his flesh. Well, that was a day. Good grief. I mean to tell you, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate these people. What in the world is their problem? Today alone, I got questioned by their leaders twice. One time they tried to tell me what is in the law. Can you believe it? Yeah, I know, Daddy, thanks. I just wrote it. Oh, please do enlighten me. And then the head dude, he actually insinuated that I have a devil in me. A devil. Can you imagine, God? Yes, I just go around casting them out so I can send them back in. It's a real hoot. Ignorant bunch of idiots. Try to tell me when and where I can or cannot heal. Ungrateful heathens. Speaking of ungrateful, I healed 10 lepers, and guess how many came back to thank me? One. Yeah, you heard right, Ava. One measly guy has the decency to thank me. I just single-handedly, completely transformed 10 guys' entire lives. Like now they can be around people. Yeah, they can have jobs. They can be married again and see their kids. Do they thank me? No. Bunch of ingrates. That's what they are, you know. Even the guys you told me to teach. My goodness, what a bunch of losers. You know, just the other day they practically accused me of letting you drown. I was taking a much overdue nap. Thank you very much. And they interrupted it just because there was, a storm brewing on the sea. So stupid. Their faith, Dad, it's ridiculous. Try non-existent. And I'm supposed to build my church on these 12? You gotta be kidding me. At least give me something to work with. Honestly, I've been thinking, the way things are panning out at this point, I'm just gonna blow this joint. Nobody really believes in me. I get insulted like 20 times a day. They even bring Mary into it. I'm getting real tired of listening to them. Father, I think we should just can the plan, and I'll take my rightful place back next to your throne. All I get here is rejection. I mean, really. I gave down here, I gave up all of heaven for what? I'll tell you, Dad. Heartache. Now, I know we don't mean to complain like we do, so don't beat yourself up over that. I struggle too. My daughter was reminding me yesterday. We were driving somewhere, and I was complaining about somebody driving or something. I don't know what it was. She's like, Mom, really? So, we all do it. But here's the thing. We don't need to chastise ourselves and sit in sackcloth and ashes saying we're sorry, God, and we'll try really hard to stop, maybe succeeding for an hour or so. And some of us diehards, we might go a whole day without griping. No, we don't need to have a ceremony wherein we redouble our efforts to stop whining. What do we need then to get our eyes off of us? I mean, what was the problem with the imaginary Jesus? His focus was entirely on himself. Of course, we can thank God it really wasn't. But we do that a lot. The Israelites acted the same in the wilderness. Oh, great, manna again. Gee, thanks, God. Another Bible character who liked to fuss in the New Testament is the prodigal son's brother. We spent a lot of time talking about the prodigal. But what about his sibling? Why was he so grumpy? He saw what happened to his brother. His father lavished serious grace upon the strayer. The brother was very offended since he had remained faithful and was at home. He followed the rules, he didn't waste his inheritance, and now here comes his brother along, and he's just going to shower him with all this affection and a party and everything. It's not that. Thank you. I used to be so good at that when I was a kid. I said that so many, those 3 words. And one time we were going on some trip or something to camp, and so there was other kids in the car, and I was griping, and I said, it's not fair. And this other girl, who was very wise for like 10, she looked at me in the hearing of my mother, unfortunately for me, and she said, Kathy, life isn't fair. My mom said, I've been trying to tell her that. Jesus used the example of the better brother to contrast the grace of God, which is earned and unmerited. And when I say better, I mean better in quotes, right? Father to the prodigal son was someone trying to be good enough by their obedience. So here's the better brother who is good, right? Because he stayed at home and he did everything he was got the other guy over here who did everything he was not supposed to do, and now he's getting blessed. And it's not fair. The father responds with surprise at how the offended brother feels slighted. My son, all I have is yours. You can have a party anytime you like. So what's all this have to do with gratitude? I'm sure you're wondering. You're going, what issue? Well, a lot. When we are thinking like the Israelites or the good brother or the bad Jesus, we become ungrateful because our focus is on what we've done or accomplished and then on what we deserve accordingly. You may think, no, I know I don't deserve anything but crumbs from God. Maybe you want to believe that, but in reality, you think your mostly decent obedience has earned you points for blessing. And I know that because you complain sometimes. And you wouldn't complain if you didn't believe that. It's hard. I do too. I'm not putting you down. Otherwise, you'd have no reason to complain, right? Jesus emptied himself completely, and his whole life walking on earth was sacrifice. But he didn't mind. He was motivated solely by love. How could he do that? Not much differently than you or I, actually. How can I say that? Because again, he emptied himself of his deity and lived as a man. He wasn't pulling out his God card. Everything he did, everything was Holy Spirit. He declared he did nothing and said nothing except what the Father was doing, what the Father was saying. And he did that because he was full of God's love and security. Think about it. Jesus had no insecurity. And he wasn't cocky or prideful either. He knew who he was and why he was here. He was completely sure that his daddy God loved him no matter what anyone else said or did. That's how he never prayed a prayer like the one we heard. So if you would like to be more like him, and I know you would or you wouldn't be here, I propose that doing that doesn't require you to try to be better or biting your tongue so you don't bite. How about this? The next time you want to engage like the Israelites and insult God's provision, you turn your eyes upon Jesus, the bread of life, the manna that came down for you. The next time you start fussing, instead of piling shame on yourself for failing again, pour out your praise for Jesus, for loving you anyway. The more you thank him for just accepting you, warts and all, for totally just being there for you, loving you, cheering you on, the less room you'll have for complaints. Trust me. Jesus' love and presence fills us, leaving no gaps. Take him in. Psalm 107:15 encourages us to give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love and wonderful deeds for mankind. Philippians 4:6 tells us not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, to present our request to God. And see, if we really know that he's really good, all good, there's not bad parts, he's all good. And I struggled with that for a long time because I thought that some of the things I was learning about God that weren't correct, that weren't scriptural, that he was not so good in some places. And so when you start to think those things, it's very hard to trust him because it's kind of like going, well, he's a good guy, and then you get in this car with this person that you're supposed to trust. It's like this. It's like somebody says, oh, this is my friend. He's a good guy. He's in the back, and he's a criminal. He just got out of jail. He's a rapist also, but it's okay. You're good. You're going to drive 5 hours with him in the car. It's fine. Okay, you're not going to feel real good, especially if you're a woman, right? Okay, are you going to feel safe?
No.
I mean, maybe he's totally reformed and wonderful, but you don't know that. You just met him. You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know what he's capable of. And if you think that God is like that, I'm not saying he's a rapist, but if you've heard things, okay, this cause in the back of your mind to go, I'm not really sure God is for me. I'm not really sure how much I can really trust him. Then you're not going to trust him. And when things get bad and they get scary, you're going to go run to somebody else. You're going to go run to a friend and grab on the phone. You're going to go vegetate in front of the TV. You're going to be tempted to take drugs or alcohol or eat too much or watch porn or engage in sex that you don't need to be engaging in because you don't feel okay. You're not secure. And you're not going to be okay putting everything in God's hands and going, I'm good with that. That's cool. Because you don't believe that God is for you. So going to Him and figuring that out and really, you know what, if you don't, please tell Him, because He knows that. He knows that you don't trust Him. It's okay, you can tell Him. You know, I don't trust you, God, and I want to. So let's work on this thing together. I want to learn how to trust you. I want to learn how you show me who you really are. Show me who you really are. Do you know there's Muslims that are like on the other side of the world, they don't speak English, that they've gone, you know what, God, I want to know who you are. I don't know who you are. I'm trying to follow this religion. I'm trying to do all the things I'm supposed to do, pray in the right direction, and do all these things every day, and I want to know who you are. And Jesus has appeared in their room to them like He did to James and to Paul. Do you know there's people in the jungle who have gone, in whatever language they speak, I want to know who you are, God. You know, I don't, you know, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and I want to know who you are. You know, we got witch doctors and all kinds of crazy stuff in my tribe. I want to know who you are. And the next day, a missionary has appeared in their tribe, you know. God will come to you when you ask Him. He will show you who He is for real. And I don't care if you've been a Christian 20 years, you may still have some warped beliefs. So tell Him to show you, give you revelation when you're reading the Word. You can read the Word and the enemy can use it against you and screw up your mind with it. Trust me, because He did it to me for 20 years. The Word of God. He can take it and He can hurt you with it. He tried to do it with Jesus. It didn't work though, right? Why not? Because Jesus was so secure. He said, I know who I am. Get out of here with that crap. I'm not listening to you. Can I say crap? I don't know if Jesus said crap. He probably didn't, okay? But I'm just saying, all right? He said, get out. Be gone, Satan, because you are full of it and you are not here with the truth. You're trying to throw me off who I really am. Right before that, does anybody know what God told Jesus right before His temptation in the wilderness? You get like stars and M&Ms and everything spelled had in. I'm sorry, but I'll give you some later. Exactly. This is my beloved Son. I mean, He already knew who He was, right? But that's like an extra little, yes, I'm proud of you. Yes, you're doing what I want. Yes, I love you. So there was no, Satan might as well just gone home because he wasn't going to get through to Jesus because he totally was secure. He was totally knowing what his mission was and knew what he was supposed to do. So this stuff, this being grateful is not hard if you are regularly taking time with God to learn who He is. As Principle 7 and Step 11 reminded us at the beginning, you were made for relationship with your Heavenly Daddy. He longs for you as a lover. And if that embarrasses you, go read Song of Solomon, because I didn't write it, he did. All right? Take some time to get to know Him. I mean, really, if you are His, your spirit adores Him. So let this worship flow. Gratitude will be supernaturally abundant in that worship. Now, I want you guys to take home this gratitude list and fill it out, okay? We're not going to do it tonight because we wanted to focus on this other stuff so you could see why it is that you can be grateful. All right, but I know that you guys are going to fill this out, so I'm going to check next week. I have a song that I
dare you to check next week.
Yeah, really.